This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Gotta get something working here. It's not working. This part right here, hold on. Here we go, and... there we go. What's going on? Yeah, just so you know, Miss Giss, I made a whole bunch of people now that aren't blue anymore. So here's the thing, everybody. The whole mod problem is my fault. Okay? You know, that's the reality of it. It's my fault. So what happened was I wasn't very, like people, like one day I might, oh yeah, somebody I like, but there's people I like that don't have them. And then it just got really stupid where I just kept giving out, mod stickers. I had 80 something mods, now there's 35, which is still high. And I'm not really even sure if I'm going to keep that many as well. It's just kind of like, it's my fault that there was a problem. But it has nothing to do with you or anything if you don't have one, because it's really just kind of, I didn't really know. I was just like, well, maybe that person isn't here as much, or this one, that, it was just got to where it would have been cool if there was, like Stacy suggested to me that, maybe if there was a date, which makes, that makes sense, because then there's no, but there isn't any date on there. But that would have made sense. Like I could go back to a certain date. People that, and then that would be like, there's no, I didn't have any choosing to do. It's just sort of like a number, right? So that was a great idea, Stacy, but there's no dates. So anyways, I don't want anybody to feel bad that doesn't have the blue mod thing anymore. Whatever the hell you call that, the wrench, because it has nothing to do with you. It just got where the whole chat was moderators at some points, right? And again, I can't type into the chat. I was trying to type words in there and it wasn't showing up. Well, that's not true, Toyeri. That's why I'm saying that, okay? Yeah, so what you just typed in isn't factual. I know it bothered a whole bunch of people. Got emails and everything. Thank you, Claudia Neubauer. Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for understanding and having a lot of you still here. Right, well, cool. Thanks, Miss Giss. Sometimes I actually think people that have responses like that are the ones that should have been the mods, because it's like they weren't doing it, out of some sort of, oh well, I need to be a mod or I'm gonna go. It's I'm not really into that, to be honest with you. Now, the only reason I'm actually mods on these 2 other channels that are out there, 3 channels, Straight Drop, I'm a mod on Chasing Truth, and I'm a mod on what the hell's that one? YouTube Court TV, okay? And that's only because those people on those channels, I was a hated figure, and I would get blocked every 2 seconds by the moderators. So what they did was they made me a moderator so that they couldn't do that to me. And so that's why Straight Drop is even one here, and so is Chasing Truth. It's sort of this mutual respect thing, right? Even though nobody here would block either one of those people. Hey, wow, thanks, Allie Cake and Karen K. I'm not sure why. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe I turned that on just in time. Let's see. Oh, of course it did the cat eye one. Thank you.
Freak family is the best. Heart. Happy Saturday.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so anyways, it's my fault that the whole scenario happened with the mods, okay? So like it's going on anyways, you can blame me however you want to do it. It is what it is. All right. Man, this is one of those crazy nights, man, when I was looking at those cases. I think you guys will see the same thing. Pretty bizarre. Absolutely crazy. Oh, and in the case of the, what the hell's his name? The Psycho, you know, that one guy named something, the
What
Psycho?
the freak?
Yeah, they found another body of his that he buried. So, there's an update on that. Another set of human remains. Yeah, let me put that one up here really quick. This one? This guy right here?
Are coming out about a possible second victim after remains of 3 people were found in southern Colorado. The remains were found in a remote area in Conejos County. Investigators say a confidential informant tells them Selena Escobel is one of the 3 victims. Conejos County investigators say a confidential...
That looks like that spot that I had, doesn't it? I mean, I can't remember how I would have referred to it in here. Something like Psycho? Oh yeah. that was it. Alright, well, good to know that I can backtrack my brain. Doesn't that seem like that's the spot? Because remember, we weren't, yeah, boom, that proves it.
Investigators say a confidential informant tells them Conejos County investigators say.
Look at that. That's it. Okay, cool. So our little getting a couple shots on the news and then finding it randomly worked.
A confidential informant tells them Selena Escobel is one of the 3 victims. The informant says the suspect, Andre Psycho Burrows, was there when Selena was shot, killed, and then buried. An autopsy will determine if one of the victims is Selena. Earlier this month, another victim was identified as 38-year-old Myron Robert Martinez. If you'd like more background information on this case, you can head to cbsdenver.com.
Yeah, so there you go. Another body in that one. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to go over these Iowa cold cases here, and man, it just there's a whole bunch of little things in it, you know, nexuses, if that's the right way to say that. It was just it got kind of crazy after a while. So hopefully you guys will think the same thing. Thank you, Gloria Batari and Chrissy. Yeah, he does look like a Neanderthal, but he does. That means he has a bigger brain, though. So a little slower to pull out information. Okay, here we go. Let me move over to the actual today's cases. There we go. Wait, today's the 19th, yeah. All right, here we go. Right, so the first case is an individual named Anna T. Miller. Her middle name is Titje, and I'm not even going to try to pretend that that would make sense to me to pronounce. Okay, but maybe Titch. Okay, but Anna T. Miller. Okay, let's go with that. Man, these are crazy. So here we go. Anna T. Miller. Thanks, Mary Clark. Oh, that's like my favorite thing, that little bear dancing around. Looks like it's wasted. Yeah, so Anna T. Miller was devoted to being a professional secretary, 57 years old. She took pride in being efficient, methodical, precise, and helpful. She had never married and lived alone in a well-kept home at 3531 54th Street. So I have that right here. Yeah, so I think everything looks basically the same. You can tell that's a house that's been there. Alright. So Ann Miller's body was found Monday. Let's see, the quiet, private way she lived contrasted starkly with the way she died. Anna Miller's body was found Monday with 13 head wounds delivered by what authorities believe to be an axe, knife, or both. You know, some sort of a, machete type deal. Which is weird because that's, we're in the same time frame as the Burkhart, the podcast that I'm working on, that I worked on, but, I don't know if any of you guys have been listening to that, but Roger and Rose, they were killed in a hotel with an axe. And that was, I think, 1981, I think, if I remember right. But anyways, just kind of strange. I don't think being killed with a hatchet is very common, right? Like, it's not exactly the most common way to get murdered. So anyways, driving a car was out of the question for the modest, quiet woman. She sometimes traveled by bus, but preferred to walk. Anne, as she was known to her friends, kept her private life to herself. She did like to eat out 2 or 3 times a week. Her not too well kept secret was taking dance lessons at a studio here. She apparently had become a good dancer, but was hampered somewhat by arthritis in her ankles. As far as her friends know, she didn't have any boyfriends. She wasn't sexy or attractive to men, but she was a nice girl, said a longtime male friend and former co-worker. In her quarter century of employment at the Pittsburgh Des Moines Steel Company here, she had missed only 2 or 3 days of work. Anne belonged to the old school where she did a good day's work for a day's pay. Her life was her job, was the way co-workers described her. Yep, so, that's how people were back in the day. They actually gave a shit, about what they were doing. Her boss, Robert Naert, said Anne was a very conscientious person, a good citizen, very considerate of people. I think what I'm really saying is people were really loyal to where they worked where now you skip jobs every 2 or 3 years to get a pay raise, which, you know, isn't stupid or anything. It's just kind of the way it is. When Ann failed to report for work Monday, Nairn said there was immediate concern, you know, because she's only missed 3 days in 25 years. She had a damn near perfect attendance. There was no way for her to be late. For her to be late, the bus would have to have broken down. Ann's brother, Merle, was called. He found her at home in a pool of blood, beaten and stabbed to death. The woman was known for being gentle, had suffered 13 head wounds in the unexplained attack. The little finger on Ann's right hand was apparently cut off when she tried, that's going to be a defensive wound, when she tried to fend off the blows aimed at her head. So far, police detectives, and see, I haven't read through all these, but the little stuff that I was able to see and read, I was like, oh God, here we go. So far, police detectives haven't figured out how the murderer got into Miller's home or what the motive for the slaying was. She wasn't known to keep valuables around and use checks for business transactions. Dr. R.C. Wooder, Polk County Medical Examiner, said there was no evidence she had been sexually molested. Wooder said the wounds were both blunt and sharp, explaining this could mean 2 weapons. Yeah, or the back of the axe, right? Although Ann had been bothered by, listen to this one, although Ann had been bothered by strange telephone calls and a peeping Tom, friends from work and those with the National Secretaries Association said Tuesday that they were puzzled as to why she apparently didn't notify police. R.M. Bleakley, retired from Pittsburgh Des Moines Steel, said he and his wife ran into Ann by chance last Thursday at a restaurant. She said she was pestered by prowlers and window peepers, said Bleakley. She said there would be knocking at the door in the middle of the night. She said she knew some of her neighbors were having the same problems. The last several weeks, she said she had been getting these phone calls. So, look at these crazy phone calls. Somebody had suggested getting a whistle, so she blew it into the phone. So she got a whistle and then blew it into the phone, and the call stopped. Ann also told Bleakley that, I think it meant to say, the noises would awaken her at night, and she would see a vague form or face peeping into the window. Jesus. Although police say they have no record of Ann filing prowler complaints, friends guess that she either thought the problem would go away or it was too insignificant to bother the police. She was very docile, not the type who would hurt anyone. Maybe that was her detriment. She told other girls about the window peeper, said Green. Why she didn't take any other precautions doesn't make sense. All right, and there's the home. Let me see something. Oh, I think it's right here, right? Yeah, there we go. So it looks like this part has been added on. The garage is still there. Same structure. But yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. It's pretty crazy. I don't know, you know, I wonder if they told anybody who bought that house what was going on there. Alright. Police remained stumped Tuesday on the motive for the brutal bludgeoning of a middle-aged secretary. Let me turn this down. I think it's too high. Yeah. Whose body was discovered Monday in her Des Moines home. And while investigators have no specific suspect in mind, we have some people we are looking at. I differentiate between people we want to interview and persons we call suspects. The body of Anna T. Miller, 57, was found in the blood-spattered living room of her home at 3531 54th Street by her brother. He had been alerted by Miller's employer that she had not reported for work. Dr. R.C. Wooders, Polk County medical examiner, said Miller was struck on the head more than a dozen times and that part of a finger was amputated, apparently when she tried to fend off her assailant. He said, man, I mean, that person just absolutely went haywire. And we understand from talking to her brother, Merle Miller, of 3304 4th Street, that she conducted most of her financial transactions by check. Let's see. Wall said there are four of the 10 investigators assigned to the case searched Monday afternoon through a city garbage truck that had picked up its load in the Miller neighborhood but found nothing of value. He said the men were looking for a heavy, blunt instrument, perhaps a hammer-like, which had a cutting capability. Robbery does not appear to be the reason for the slaying. And, you know, you can just tell by what people know about her, she's not somebody that would have any problem somewhere. So whoever killed her is just there to kill. You know, there's no, it's a psycho serial killer type. There are people who would do it for reasons you and I would consider bizarre. That's exactly right. In terms of his mental state. Police said the murderer would have to have a great deal of blood on his clothing when he left Miller's house. Yeah, I mean, there would have been blood spatter, cast off, just all over everything. They appealed Tuesday for the public to notify detectives if bloody clothing or bloody weapon is found. Neither should not be touched to preserve its possible value as evidence. Miller's slaying was the 17th of the year in Des Moines. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I mean, Des Moines, man. And this is 1979, too. And it was almost the #1 murder year when I was scrolling through that, of unsolved cases. Okay, now it's we're about next day in the paper. Friends of a Des Moines woman found bludgeoned to death in her home Monday say they are puzzled by the violent way the quiet private secretary died. The body of Anna Miller, 57, was found in her blood-spattered living room with 13 head wounds made by what authorities believe to be an axe. I mean, isn't that crazy? That person just kept going at her head and head, you know, like it just... Friends and associates of the woman say she never married and lived alone. She did not drive, they said, instead taking the bus or walking to her job as a secretary at the Pittsburgh Des Moines Steel Company. Her employer said she only missed 2 or 3 days of work in her quarter century there. Her boss, Robert Naert, said when Miss Miller failed to report for work Monday, there was immediate concern. Miss Miller's brother, Merle was called. He found her body at home in a pool of blood. Officials said the little finger of her right hand, you know, it's a little pinky, I guess, was cut off when she tried to fend off the blows. Polk County medical examiner Dr. R.C. Wooders said there was no evidence she had been sexually molested. But as we all know, they virtually put that in every single article, and then years later they'll say. Now here's this other article from the 12. Detectives are investigating whether there is a connection between the recent slaying of Anna Miller and the 1976 murder of Emma Lewis. That's one of the ones we actually covered a week or two ago. Lewis, 80, a shy widow who lived alone, died at her home after being bludgeoned, beaten, or stomped about the head. No murder weapon was found, and the case remained unsolved due to lack of evidence. And that case is still unsolved. Oh, and there's a picture of Anna Miller right there. Okay. A man in his mid-30s who was questioned about Lewis's death has had a history of being a peeping Tom since childhood. The man was arrested on an exhibition charge about a year ago in Windsor Heights. A detective with that department confirmed Wednesday and was also a suspect in a 1974 murder of a 73-year-old Minnesota widow. Miller, 57, a secretary, lived alone at 3531 54th Street, was killed last Saturday after being struck in the head 13 times. Let's see. And then the other individual, about a year ago, Brunk said a man knocked on the door of an elderly woman, told her what he was going to do to her, but was thwarted when she slammed the door. Brunk also revealed that the same suspect was a suspect in the 1974 stabbing death of May A. Herman, 73, a widow who lived alone in Wilmer, Minnesota. Herman was stabbed repeatedly in the throat. The case remains unsolved. No murder weapon was found. So, anyways, this is the only time that this individual is brought up in these stories, but they were wondering if they were connected. Just happens to be one of the ones that we've already covered. All right, and then on the 13th, Nichols says linking death is premature. So now they're saying, yeah, let's not link those two. Those don't really sound like good. Hey, thank you, Jessica Schubach. Right. And then this is on the 27th, so 2 weeks later. Looks like it starts up here. Des Moines police have released a composite picture of a man wanted for questioning in the investigation into the killing of Anna Miller. Anna T. Miller. They have her at 57, but she's 53. Miss Miller, 53, was found beaten to death with an axe or hatchet in her Des Moines home July 10th. Assistant Des Moines Police Chief, and it's actually July 8th. So whoever did this little write-up here got a lot of errors in one little short. She's 57 and it was July 8th. Assistant Des Moines Police Chief Billy Wallace said a man was seen talking to Miss Miller July 7th as she got off a bus. He said police have no knowledge that the man is involved in any wrongdoing. Okay, well, here it is. Look at this thing. So, Jack Hatch got his picture in the newspaper Thursday. What more could a political candidate ask for? Right? Wrong. The picture in this case was a composite police sketch of a man wanted for questioning in the brutal slaying of a Des Moines woman earlier this month. The resemblance between Hatch and the sketch caused the 28-year-old politician all kinds of problems Thursday until police said Hatch is an innocent victim of a strange coincidence. I don't think they look really similar at all. I mean, I guess he's got a mustache. The faces look totally different though. But anyways, poor guy, right? Hatch is a candidate for the Polk County Board of Supervisors. Hatch, making his first bid for elective office, has been, I wonder if he won, spending between 5 and 6 hours some days knocking on doors in the area, but since the police sketch appeared in the Register Thursday morning, he's been afraid to resume the activity. I didn't go out today, Hatch said. The decision apparently was a good one. Several residents called police Thursday morning to report they had seen a young man resembling the sketch. Just like all the people in the Delphi case, right? Hatch was interviewed twice by Des Moines police detectives throughout the day. It's very clear Jack Hatch is a victim of having looked like our composite photo. So, anyways, let's take this composite sketch right here. All right, well, I'll just store that for now. And this is the first case, Anna Miller composite sketch. All right. Then going to go to November 1978. Now, this is new information on this case. Last July 10th, Anna T. Miller, 57, was found in her home, dead from Actually, it's the same year. I think it's actually 1978, not 1979. Sorry about that. So it's 1978, and this is in November, and she was murdered in July. July 8th, I think. They say 10th again here, but I have an official website. They have the 8th. Last July 10th, Anna Miller, 57, was found in her home. That's when she was found, but she might have been murdered on the 8th. In her home, dead from 13 blows to the head with a blunt instrument, probably an axe or a hatchet. Several days later, a note mysteriously appeared on the front door of another house in Miller's neighborhood. It said, "Axes, axes, we all fall down." The line was a morbid twist to the nursery rhyme, "Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down." Miller, a quiet secretary who lived alone at 3531 54th Street, had told friends of getting strange telephone calls and of being bothered by a window peeper. She also knew some of her neighbors were having the same problems. Her slaying remains unsolved, and police confirm that older women in Miller's neighborhood as well as elsewhere continue to get strange calls. One case is an exception because it involves two young women, a 35-year-old real estate broker and her 18-year-old daughter. So maybe keep those two in mind right there, a little younger, right? A Grandview College student who lived in the house where the axe note appeared. So these are the two that got the axe note. During the past 14 months, they have received more than 50 strange, terrifying, and obscene telephone calls, and since summer, the daughter has been finding threatening notes on her car. Initially, the target of the calls was the mother. The calls then shifted to the daughter. The caller likes to express himself through nursery rhymes, such as "Mary Had a Little Lamb." I was thinking of Billy Boy Blue. All right, not really Billy Boy Blue, but Andrew Dice Clay used the same damn nursery rhymes and came up with his own obscene shit that was in them. But the caller likes to express himself through nursery rhymes, such as "Mary Had a Little Lamb" and "Jack be Nimble." Obscene phrases are substituted for the last lines. The caller seems to be keenly aware of the younger woman's movements. So listen how creepy this stuff is. The caller seems to be keenly aware of the younger woman's movements, calling her immediately after she arrives home or after everyone else just left. They don't say the address of this one. Kind of wonder if they were near where a phone booth is or something. Most of the calls have been of a sexual nature, except one in which he threatened to blow up the house. Although there have been as many as 5 calls a day, there has been no set pattern of frequency. The calls have dwindled, however, as the note writing has increased. The women aren't sure the same person is responsible for both the calls and the notes. All of the notes, except the first, have been found on the young woman's car at Grandview. The last note said, "Scream all you want, no one can hear you." Earlier, she had found a page torn from a Reader's Digest. It showed a woman talking on a phone and being attacked by a man from behind. A handwritten warning beneath that photo said, "You think this can't happen to you?" Just after she started college, there was a note on the windshield that said, "I don't want you to leave." The car wouldn't start until she reconnected the ignition coil. I mean, this guy, man, that's some scary ass shit. Could you imagine? Man. "It gives you a helpless feeling," said the mother. "I'm angry and frustrated, panicky inside, and I feel I'm helpless." The woman asked not to be identified in print for fear they would be pestered by the other obscene phone callers. Assistant Police Chief Billy B. Wallace, head of detectives, says police have been investigating, but have come up with no solid clues. He believes the women are in no danger. Well, how would he know? But he says it's impossible to be certain. Yeah, exactly. Wallace also maintains the mother isn't using her imagination to determine the identity of the caller and letter writer. Detectives have told the women that even if the culprit or culprits are caught, the maximum fine would only be $25. That's great. Why not change phone numbers? The mother says she must have a listed number because of her real estate business. Northwestern Bell Telephone Company has tried to trace the calls, but with no success. Castelline said tracing equipment was used 2 or 3 times over 7 to 10 days period, or 7-10 day periods. Castelline said the company receives 300 to 500 complaints a month about annoyance calls. Let's see. 2 telephone company traces 50 to 75% of the calls and attempts to find the origin. The women believe the caller is between 25 and 30 years old. He sounds intelligent. He doesn't slaughter the language. He's also foxy. What's that mean? One time he cried and said he knew he had a problem and that he needed help. I thought foxy was a good thing. That sounds... The mother said the crying turned out to be a trick. So they mean like the real term of being like a fox, you know, like how a fox trick their prey a lot of times, or you know when they're out getting stuff. Yeah, like sly like a fox, right? But foxy, remember how it became sort of a term of like you're good looking or something, right? You guys know that, right? I mean, didn't you ever watch Happy Days? Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah, just change your damn number, you know. The mother said, we've tried everything. We've blown whistles in his ear, tried to reason with the man. See, this is weird because, Miss Miller also blew a whistle in the ear, but then the call stopped when she did it. The daughter carries a chemical shield to protect herself. She doesn't walk alone in public. She is escorted to her car at college, and she locks the doors and windows when she's at home. You see what monsters these people are? They just totally consume the minds of people. We are angry that this man has altered our lives so much. The police have told them they're lucky. One detective told us we're more fortunate because we can cope with it, she said. He said he had just come from talking with a 68-year-old widow who had been asked on the phone whether she was interested in occasional sex. He said she had been crying since the call. He said some of the women would get obscene calls, eventually have to go to psychiatric treatment. Yeah, so that is the house right there. You know, and that's the one that was in the paper in 1978. Same one. And so that's that story. So, you know, you've got that one in your mind, so keep that one in your mind there. And now I'm moving on to another story of Camille, Louise, and another crazy name with a J in the middle of it, NJUS. Thanks, Chrissy. Yeah, it's, you know. Got a cat eye donation earlier, so thank you guys.
Finish the year of donations strong. Flex biceps.
Yeah, thank you. So this is her name. Now I don't know how to pronounce that. NJUS. Okay. How about Camille N? We'll call her. 2 months ago, Camille N left a Des Moines beauty parlor and was apparently en route to her home in Grinnell. Yeah. Or do you think it's just a silent J? Maybe I should say her name. Anybody know how to pronounce that? By the way, I still can't type in the chat. Hello? Anybody there? So you think it's Njus? Okay. So you just make the J silent, like I was thinking. Alright, 2 months ago, Camille Njus, 20, left a Des Moines beauty parlor and was apparently en route to her home in Grinnell. Njus pronounced Njus. Oh, it says it in the next sentence. That's the greatest thing in the world. Hey, that just proves I don't read these damn things. Yeah, I just read little parts here and there. Look at that, it's the next sentence. That's hilarious. No article's ever done that before for us, though. So can you guys understand, right? There hasn't been one article that's ever helped us out. That's freaking hilarious. Woo! I almost need to do the, where is this thing? I almost need to hit the rim shot or something. Yeah. That's great. I'm out. Wait, how do you do it? 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 Oh, next sentence. Her parents, relatives, friends, and law enforcement officers are all baffled by her disappearance. The Iowa Public Safety Department. So she worked for the Iowa Public Safety Department, another government employee. We covered a few of those on here for some reason. Missing person report. They filed a report on her with a notation that foul play is feared. The Iowa Public Safety Department has put out a missing person report. Actually, she doesn't work for them. That's the police. That's another. She works for another. I can't remember if it was like Public Works or something. She is described as 5'6" tall, weighing 125 pounds, and having reddish hair. She wears glasses and wore a silver braided ring with small diamond chip. She was wearing a navy blue crew neck sweater, red silky long sleeve shirt, and blue jeans, and had a red bandana in her pocket. Njus was last seen about 8 p.m. August 4th at a salon that's called Salon Francois at 403 Merle Hay Mall. And it's right in this mall right here. So wherever it was in that mall, that's where it was located. A cosmetologist there said Njus was happy and down to earth. She did appear to be wearing heavy clothes for the time of year. It was hot then, she said. I remember she had a sweater or jacket tied around her waist, and I think she had on hiking boots. Njus paid for the work, and she's only 20 years old, this girl right here. So Njus paid for the work with $30 check for her hair at the time. No other check has been written on her bank account since then, official said. Njus, an employee of the State Department of Transportation, there you go, took a bus from the Lucas building to Merle Hay Mall. Let's see where the Lucas building is. Yep, there it is. It's not going to be, it shouldn't be way far away, but it's right there. It looks like a government building, doesn't it? Okay, so she took a bus from here and went to the mall to get her hair done. All right, so Njus, an employee of the State Department of Transportation, took a bus from the Lucas building to the Merle May Mall for her beauty appointment to get her hair done. Usually on Friday nights, she would ride to Grinnell with her stepfather, James Gould, 45, also a state employee. And then he said, she left me a note that noon that she was going to get her hair fixed that evening and would ride the bus to Grinnell, like later after she was done. The bus left Des Moines about 9:15 p.m. and arrived in Grinnell about 10:15 p.m. But apparently she was not on it. At least she never arrived at home. Gold is employed by the State Department of Public Instruction. Gold's wife, Jean's mother of the missing woman, is a member of the Upper Iowa College faculty. Njus usually stayed during the week with Evelyn Mitchell at 1613 Merle Hay Road. And so this is where she would stay normally. Just during the week, I guess. Let's see where Grinnell is. Should be quite a few miles away. So I guess this is where her parents live, stepdad and mom. Anyways, are you guys able to follow along pretty well here? So yeah, hopefully you guys can keep in your mind the first story and everything with the phone calls and everything. Okay, it was, let's see. She left me a note and said, okay, Gold is employed. Mitchell also works at the Department of Transportation, but on a later shift, she hired Njus to babysit for her 2 children when she was at work in return for room and board. So that house we were just looking at, she would stay there. They have their shifts are not the same time, so she's able to babysit, and she was able to do that and live there for free. Mitchell said she last talked to Njus on the phone on the afternoon of August 4th. I just don't think she took off and left, Mitchell said. She was just too responsible of an individual. She left her makeup and some clothes at the house. On the Wednesday before she disappeared, Njus varied her routine and returned home. So see, on Wednesday before she disappeared, Njus varied her routine and returned home to Grinnell with her stepfather to visit with a sister, Lois Njus. They hadn't seen each other for 3 years and had a good visit, said Gold. Thank you, Kit Kat. Jean Gold, well, you're always a cat, though, Kit Kat, so you don't have to worry about that. So Jean Gold, Camille's mother, said the last she saw of her daughter was August 2nd. Dun, 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 dun. Chrissy
One day
Paris.
I'm going to get the freaky cat.
Jean Gold, Camille's mother, said the last saw daughter on August 2nd. She said Njus scheduled deadlines for herself each week. She was cute, vivacious, bubbly, and never used drugs or smoked pot. Njus had attended Grinnell College for a year and planned to attend St. John's University at Annapolis, Maryland, on a full scholarship starting in the 2nd semester. Oh, man. So she was smart, working for the government, and she was going to get a full ride to St. John's. And we've had a few of those lately. You know, the straight A students.
Ocean wave, surfer.
Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of people didn't smoke pot. Yeah. Thanks, Claudia Neubauer. Yeah, I think you're projecting there, Betty. Yeah. Like if you said that, yes, you'd be lying, I'm sure. I bet you right now your eyes are puffy. They're a little bit bloodshot. Hey, thanks, Claudia Neubauer. Office Mike Leeper of the Des Moines Police Department said investigation has turned up no leads. At Rock Rapids, Lyon County Sheriff Craig Vinson said the body of a nude woman found near Inwood Wednesday definitely is not the missing Njus. So crazy, you know, they found a body. You know, there's just so many bodies floating around the Des Moines area. It's, you know, hey, yeah, we found a body yesterday. Yeah, it's not her, though. Okay, now we're moving on to about 2 weeks later, there's an article. And now they did find a body here. It says... Okay, he ate the edible. See, I told you. The investigation to determine the identity of a body found Tuesday north of Des Moines is focusing in on the possibility that it's Camille Njus, Polk County detectives said. Dale Morris, chief of detectives for the Polk County Sheriff's Office, said the August disappearance of Njus is the particular direction we're pointing right now. Njus 20 of Des Moines and Grinnell vanished August 4th after a hair appointment. I'm not sure why it says Ann Grinnell. That's where she's from. Oh, no, she's from Des Moines and Grinnell. I see. Okay. Thanks, Zozo. Yeah, so you were projecting. I get it. So at the time, she was just missing, and now they have found a body out there. The decomposed body that was found Tuesday afternoon. Oh, come on, Jay. Jesus. Yeah, it was doing okay tonight. You know. Oh, man. Well, anyways, thank you very much. Man, if there was shares in the Great Hughes Investigates, he'd own a lot of them. Thank you, Tracy. And Zozo.
I didn't inhale, at least since college. That's my story and YouTube knows no different.
Yeah. Isn't that what Bill Clinton said? That was a total bullshit. Well, I smoked it, but I didn't inhale. Oh, come on. Like, okay, I'll admit to it, man. I took a drag off of it, but I just never, like, you went, hey, I let it get into my lungs at all. It was... I pretended. I poured salt into my eyeballs and walked around. I don't think she said that. Monica Lewinsky didn't say I didn't inhale. Anyways, I just want to let's get back to this now, though. Is that cool, or? Because if you don't stick with us, you're going to, yeah, of course, Bill inhaled it. You're not going to be able to follow along. No, that's all right. That part was funny, and it just kept going on and on about the other. Back to you, Jim. Yeah, so here we go. Njus 20 of Des Moines and Grinnell, so she's from Grinnell, as well as Des Moines. Vanished August 4th after a hair appointment at Salon Francois. She was described as having reddish hair and was wearing a diamond ring and a dark sweater the night she disappeared. The decomposed body that was found Tuesday afternoon in heavy underbrush in an area known as Flint Access North. I mean, let's see if that's something that, if you typed it in. Does that just show up? No, that's not it. And I didn't spell it right. Flint Access North. No, that's not it. Let's see. Flint Access north of Des Moines. Flint, known as Flint Access. So let me type in Flint Access. That did sort of make sense where that was located, though. So let's try that again. Flint access. Yep. That last one seemed like it almost got there. Oh man, so the other one went somewhere that looked like it was... Yeah, I don't know. A minute ago it seemed like it was in the right spot, but we'll have to check that out later. Heavy underbrush in an area known as Flint Access north of Des Moines. Also was described as having reddish hair, a dark sweater, and a diamond ring. Okay. The body is about 5 foot 6 inches tall, the same height as Njus. So this is her. Okay. Moritz said his office has contacted Njus, Iowa city dentist to get her charts. Njus who lived in Grinnell, worked for Iowa Department of Transportation in the Lucas State Office building. She usually stayed during the week at 1613 Merle Hay Road. That's what she was supposed to do Friday night. She disappeared, according to her family. So she was supposed to stay at that house that very Friday night, but she never made it home. New stepfather, James Gold, who also works in the Lucas building for the Department of Public Instruction, said in an interview today that Njus turned down a ride home with him that night because she wanted to get her hair fixed. Yep. So it was planned that Njus would keep her hair appointment at 8 p.m., then catch the 9 p.m. Greyhound bus for Grinnell. Okay, so she was supposed to go back home, I guess. The bus all the way to Grinnell, not the place that she stays. The bus arrived in Grinnell at 10:15, but she wasn't on it. Gold said Njus's family wondered why she missed the bus, but didn't alert police until the next day. Employees of Salon Francois remembered Njus showing up for her appointment, but they could not say where she went afterwards. She was in here, said one employee, but she just walked right out. None of the employees recalled Njus meeting anyone after the appointment, but they said she didn't call for a taxi cab either. The body found Tuesday showed no outward signs of physical injury. Of course, that may change after the autopsy, he said. It's hard to tell with the state of decomposition that what state of decomposition that the body was in. The person appeared to have been dead 2 or 3 months, he said. The Flint access... How could that be 2 or 3 months? What are you talking about? Oh, I have this marked incorrectly. It's no, I downloaded today. No, it was October 18th. And she went missing. Oh, that's right. She went missing on August 4th. Okay. Yeah, so there was a couple months where she wasn't even in the paper at all. And then the first article that came out was October 6th on her. And then she was found 2 weeks later. But, you'd think they would have put something out before that, right? Yep, months. M-U-N-T-S. Or Z, whatever the hell you want to say at the end. That's what she was supposed to do. Okay, it was down here. She was in there. None of the employees recalled Njus meeting anyone. The body found Tuesday showed no outward signs of physical injury. Of course, that may change after the autopsy. The person appeared to have been dead 2 or 3 months. The Flint access to Des Moines River is off. Oh, there we go. Morningstar Drive. There we go. Now we can do this. Between the north city limits of Des Moines and Interstate 3580. Okay. Now we can put that in there. Ah, jeez. It's weird. The closer you get to the city in the air, it knows that you're talking about it. And I got high up in the air. But there you go. And so there is Morningstar Drive. We'll just put a pin on that really quick. Then they said between the north city limits of Des Moines and Interstate 3580. Okay, there's 3580 right there. So maybe just right around in this area somewhere. I'll just put a general pin. It doesn't really matter exactly in this one. Okay. And then Moritz called it a common dumping area for trash and other refuse. Polk County detectives have, let's see, let me read this part up here again. Access to the Des Moines River. Let me look at that one more time. I wonder if it's like right here, because you can get to the. Let me see this. Because you can get access to the river. Yeah, so it's definitely Flint access to the Des Moines River is off Morningstar Drive. Okay. So it's off Morningstar Drive, and then there's access to the river. So I think it's probably, you know, it might be right in this area. I don't really see another spot. I mean, that's kind of it, because there's 80 and 35, so it's got to be in, you know, sort of this area right here. Here, I'm gonna move that just down here because it's closer. I'll just sort of put it in there maybe. Polk County detectives have combined their investigation of the body with a probe of Njus' disappearance, according to Mike Leeper. Leeper said today that Njus' family called him Tuesday night when they heard about the body that was discovered. Alright, now we're moving on to the next one. Body found near DM identified. Polk officials say woman was slain. Alright. A decomposed body found Tuesday near Des Moines was identified Wednesday as that of 20-year-old Camille Njus, described by her mother as a brilliant child with a brilliant future. The identification made through dental charts confirmed the secret fear that Njus' mother, Jean Gold, had carried in her heart for 74 days. Njus, who roomed in an apartment in Des Moines, was reported missing after she failed to arrive at her family's home. I knew from the first that she would never have run away, as some theorized, after Njus disappeared. Like, people probably thought, oh, well, she was getting her hair done to look good for whoever she was running away with, right? My daughter was a brilliant child, a very fine daughter, said Gould, who is a member of the faculty at Upper Iowa College at Fayette. She didn't take drugs. She spoke 3 languages fluently. Wow. I mean, she seems like she was just one of those people that would have absolutely kicked ass in the real world. And had a brilliant future planned as an international lawyer. Oh, jeez. Man, she was going to be... The young woman's body was found Tuesday by a man looking for firewood in a remote area north of Des Moines known as the Flint Access. The body was discovered under a pile of brush about 100 yards from a dirt road and about 300 yards from the Des Moines River. So it could have been more up where I had it originally. The area, which provides public access to the river, is between the north city limits of Des Moines and Interstate 80/35. Now I'm like, okay, I gotta figure this out. Well, I wonder if it was. Well, let's go back in time to 1990. Oh, that's a lot easier to see. Okay. That's at 100 yards from a dirt road. That's a lot easier to see, though, for sure. And let's just sort of get an idea of what 300 yards looks like. Oops. Okay, that's 300 yards. So I bet you it's more up in here where there's a lot more space. Up in there maybe. Right here. How about right there? You know, this road. That kind of makes sense. Let me move that. Because now you can get 300 yards. There wasn't 300 yards from the highway where we had it. I mean, it landed right on it, but then you wouldn't be able to do the 100. Good night, Richard Watts. So I'll just say out here somewhere. You know, it was 100 yards from a dirt road, and then 300. Let me see where 300 goes. So 300. I'm almost. Oh, wow! Look at that. Right at the base of that pin is 296. And then let's see if I can do what 100 is. That's 177. So maybe move it over like, you know, in there-ish. Okay. Gold said she wanted to know if her daughter was strangled, and I want to know if she was raped. She added, I just don't know how I'm going to pick up the pieces, but I will go on with my job eventually. I'm just not capable of teaching right now. Let's see, the area which provides public access to the river is between. Okay. The woman's sweater, bra, and ring were found at the site. Sweater, bra, and ring. So that means she was probably just dumped there then. Because her pants would have been there, you would think. She planned to take a bus to Grinnell later that evening. She knew a lot of people, her mother said, and I think if she left Merle Hay Mall with someone that night, it had to be someone she knew. She just would not get into a car with a stranger. Gold said she, well, you know, a weapon makes people do stuff, though. That's the thing. Paranormal said authorities are not sure of the cause of death. He said officials don't think a weapon was involved. The ring found with the body, a silver braided ring with a diamond clip, let's see, with a diamond chip, was identified by relatives. Dale Moritz, detective chief of Polk County Sheriff's Department, said positive identification of the body was made. Foul play is suspected. We suspect foul play, but because of the condition of the body, the cause of death may be difficult. During the work week, Njus usually stayed with Evelyn Mitchell of 1613 Merle. She would babysit. Relatives first reported Njus' disappearance to Des Moines police in early August, and the matter was treated as a missing persons report. So, you know, that turned out to be her, and now, you know, the homicide investigation begins. And here's an actual picture from where she was found. with an officer, I guess, pointing down. It's where body was found near Des Moines. Death probe continues. Authorities continue their investigation. Investigators also were waiting for the results of tissue tests, hoping those findings will shed some light into the cause of her death. Police also were looking into the incident in which a man identified himself only as an ex-convict telephoned KCCI-TV on Thursday and said he had seen a young woman struck by a car. Oh, so that person's trying to sell it. The caller said the driver picked up the woman and put her in the back seat of the car. The caller told the station he was not sure the accident occurred on the same night. Njus, Njus, an employee of the State Department's transportation, disappeared. I always hate when they add stuff like that in there. You know, it's like, just say the sentence. You know, it's like, accident occurred on the same night, Njus, and then you could just say disappeared, right? Instead, you put in this other stuff where it says Njus, an employee of the State Department of Transportation, disappeared. You know, it just kind of, it takes away from what the hell you were just talking about. It just doesn't even. Dr. Dale M. Grunwald, Polk County Deputy Medical Examiner, said an autopsy showed Njus had no broken bones, and he indicated she could not have been struck by a car. So you kind of wonder if that person was trying to sell it as something else. I don't know. We'll have to look into that because it's interesting what I just heard there. KCCTV news anchorman Russ Van Dyke described the caller as very nervous. The body was found by a man looking for firewood in the remote area known as the Flint Access. Grunwald was said to have said he was sure Njus's death was foul play, murder. Yeah, probably strangled. And, you know, your hyoid bone doesn't always get broken, by the way, everybody, when you get strangled. No, he didn't strike her on purpose. Law officers Friday searched the residence of 62-year-old Des Moines man in connection with the slaying of a 20-year-old Camille Njus of Grinnell last August. So they're looking into a 60-year-old's home. Njus's decomposed, partially nude body was found October 17th in a deserted area north of Des Moines. A former Grinnell College student, Njus had been working for the State Department. I think somehow she got forced into the vehicle because she just got her hair done right next to a mall. If she was struck by a car intentionally, it would be ludicrously obvious to all the other cars and people that are driving around right there. He probably mentioned it because you might have the same type of devious type mind, Betty. It could have been that he thought, hey, you know what, I could sell this as that she was hit. You know? There's just no way in hell she was hit. She was going to go wait for a bus, right? and it's right in the middle of a town, so, you know, you ram into her, there'd be about 100 different witnesses going, hey, you know, I did see somebody get hit, you know. But the only one that calls in is an ex-con, right? Who claimed that's what he was. Nobody knows who he was. He probably called from a payphone. Court papers say officers searched the residence of Lamar C. Toppenberg in an apartment 1102 East 9th Street and seized a typewriter, an envelope containing what appeared to be human hair, a calendar, typing paper, 2 newspaper stories about Njus's death, and 4 newspaper pages bearing handwritten remarks about Njus. Wow. 3 pieces of rope and additional hair were seized. The typewriter apparently is important to the investigation because the records say it was used to type 2 letters received by the victim's mother. Ooh, weird. Gerald Shanahan, Chief of State Division of Criminal Investigation, said Monday no charges have been filed against Toppenberg. Let's see. In questioning Toppenberg about that letter, the records say officers noticed a similarity between it and 2 unsigned letters received last month by Njus's mother, Jean Gold, a professor at Upper Iowa University in Fayette. In them, the author claimed to have accidentally killed Njus, sounds just like the caller, August 4th, authorities said. Those letters were written on the same typewriter that was found in Toppenberg's apartment, according to the court records. The court records contain a handwritten notation by District Judge Ray Fenton, who authorized the search. Wow, that sure sounds like, whoa, man, that guy's got to have something to do with it. But I don't think it turned out to be anything. You know, so then I'm looking at, I'm still reading. So this is where things start getting kind of crazy in here, right? It's like teen's death similar to 1978 slang. Although lawmen say there's nothing definite, they had difficulty Monday avoiding comparisons between the brutal deaths of Carol Ann Donnelly and Camille Njus, both of whom disappeared from the vicinity of Merle Hay Mall here. Donnelly, 18, and so I have her in here. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So look at where Carol Ann Donnelly lives right here. And, here's the mall. Here's where the first story that we talked about lives. Ann T. Miller's home. Then you've got Carol Ann Donnelly that lives right there. And then the individual we're talking about right now, Miss Njus, this is where she lived during her time when she just stayed for the week. So you got boom, boom, boom. I mean, look at that. That's crazy, right? I mean, just right in the same spot. Even though these weren't all listed together on the website, things just sort of started strangely coming together here. Donnelly, 18 of 3401 48th Street, had been missing since November 16th. Her nude body was recovered from the Saylorville Reservoir. Let's see where that is. So I'll go down to here, put this in here. Alright, so we'll just randomly, her body was found in here somewhere. Yeah, and it's weird because it's sort of the same direction. Look at the body found here in a remote area, and then just go a little bit more north. Now you're in the reservoir, right? The partly nude body of Njus, 20, of 1613 Merle Hay Road was found October 17th in a remote area just north of Des Moines. She had been missing since August 4th. Right, and this says officials say both women were about the same age. Both apparently were abducted from the same general vicinity, and their bodies were found in basically the same geographic area. And in both cases, officers have been baffled and have little information to work with. Dwayne Donnelly of 3401 48th Street said the $1,000 reward, so anyway, we got rewards. And fishermen found her body, her hands tied with pantyhose, entangled in 3 roots, and floating in the reservoir. Man. So her hands were tied, and she was floating in the reservoir, and fishermen found her because the hands got entangled. And now this is a continuation. Carol Ann had been missing since, let's see, what's this one? Let me go back a page. could have been in the water. Okay, there you go. So Wooters said Donnelly could have been in the water almost from the day of her disappearance. Carol Ann had been missing since 11 p.m. November 16th when she got off work at the Village Inn Pizza Pasta. Okay, let's type this in. Let's check this out. So she got off of work at 3600 Merle Hay Road. Now watch how close this is going to be. Oh man, look at that. See, there's the mall, and then right there, this is the pizza place. She got off work. It's called the Village Inn Pizza. So that's where Njus was last seen getting her hair done. And this is where Carol Ann Donnelly was last seen getting her hair done. And then if you just sort of look at this, north of town is where Njus's body was found. And then even further north is where Donnelly's body was found. So it's starting to get pretty strange, right? Yeah, it's... Okay, here we go. Yeah, I mean, it just... Oh, man. It gives me sort of like a weird feeling when you go through this stuff. Donnelly's father also told investigators that his daughter would not have left home without notifying the family. Donnelly's disappearance, like that of Camille Njus, was not taken lightly. Law enforcement officials receive hundreds of missing persons reports annually. In the more than 4 months he has been working on the Donnelly case, Leeper has interviewed all her friends trying to discover what happened to her the night she was last alive. He said he had talked with Carol Ann's mother or father once or twice a week. Frank Ortiz, manager of the Village Inn where Donnelly was working the night of November 16th, said the restaurant was awfully busy that night. He said she had been employed for 2 weeks part-time. She was the only one who got off at 11. I knew she had asked other people what time they were getting off, looking for a ride home. Oh boy. Okay, and let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, so they're just, this is the same, all these different cases, they're, you know, they have no leads or anything at the time. And there's one last, 1987, this was just in the newspaper. There's a picture of her right there, Camille Njus. I mean, she was going to be an absolute kick-ass, you know, genius. Still a mystery. After more than 8 years, authorities say they still have no new information about the 1978 slaying of Camille Njus, 20, whose decomposed body was discovered under a brush pile in a remote area north of Des Moines. Njus, who lived in Des Moines at the time, had been missing for several months when a man looking for firewood near the Des Moines River found her body. Only her sweater, ring, and bra were found with the body. Gene Meyer, assistant director of the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation, says Njus's death is still under investigation. All right. So now I'm going to go look at the Carol Ann Donnelly case, all right? Because remember they said this one was similar. All right, so hold on. I'm going to just go take a quick break, though, all right? See, the weird stuff hasn't even happened yet, okay? That's what's funny, is you guys haven't seen the weird stuff. Yeah. That was some crazy shit right there.
Welcome back, Gray.
Where was I? Welcome back to what? Where'd I go? Oh, you timed, that was just luck? Oh, that was pretty funny. Thanks, Chrissy and Sarita. Okay, so far tonight we've talked about the cases. Remember, we had Anna T. Miller. She was the one who was hacked 13 times in the head with a machete, or not a machete, an axe, or something like that. And she'd gotten those obscene phone calls, and people were peeping toms prior to that. And she was found in her home with a defensive wound with her pinky chopped off, her right hand pinky, right? So we had that one, and then the second case was Camille Louise Njus, pronounced Noose, as the article stated, that I missed, or if I had continued reading, would have seen it 2 seconds later. She works for the government. She stays with a friend in town, a coworker, 5 days a week. They have shifts that offset each other, so she can babysit the friend's kids. And so she has rent-free there. She's also was going to go to St. John's, I think she said. I think that's the school. And she wanted to be an attorney. But anyway, she was getting her hair done on the night of August 4th. And she was supposed to take a bus back to her hometown of Grinnell. And then she disappeared and was never seen alive again. And then her body was found 3 months later in an area that was called, I think it was access point to the river there, and it was a place where people normally dumped stuff. And she only had her top on, a ring, and I think it was in her bra. So her pants were missing. So her body was probably dumped there. She was put underneath some brush and whatnot. Okay, but they also said, hey, there seems to be similarities to the Carol Ann Donnelly case of 1979, right? You guys still here? Or? You guys ready? Okay. So we've got Carol Ann Donnelly here. And here's just a little bit about her case. Carol Ann Donnelly, 18. This is when she was missing. Of 3401 48th Street. Decided to walk home from work. Let's see. Decided to walk home from work the night of November 16th. So that wouldn't have been a ridiculous walk. She lives right here, and she worked right there. So, I mean, it's not even far. It's just, 11 o'clock at night isn't where you want to be a woman walking home at night. It's, almost probably a mile to walk home. Okay? But she didn't make it home and hasn't been heard from since. So I don't think she would have accepted a ride to get a mile drive unless it was somebody she knew. So, now we have another person as well, the Njus, who, when she got off of work, you know, maybe there's a person that had a weapon that said, "Get in the car, or I'll shoot," you know, or "I'll shoot," or something. We don't know how that went down. Police handle 10 to 15 missing persons report every month, and of that, 90% return or call home within 72 hours. Another 9.5% are located within a week, and some of the other 5% leave and don't want it to return. However, Leeper and the other officers say they have not had anyone tell them Donnelly intended to leave home. Officials said Donnelly didn't like being tied down to one boyfriend, and they interviewed all of the younger men she had been seeing. Leeper said there is a possibility she had met with foul play, but that there's no solid evidence. She and Donnelly's mother contacted Greta Alexander, the Delavan, Illinois a psychic. Oh, God. I can't even read that part. When her ride didn't show up, she apparently was at least mildly upset and told other employees she planned to walk. She had asked other employees for a ride, but either they didn't have a car or couldn't help. Whoever didn't pick her up probably feels horrible to this day. She is described as 5'6", 125 pounds, straight brown hair, and had curled with a permanent green eyes and a 1.5-inch scar over her left eye. Authorities said she was wearing a brown skirt, jumper, and flowered print blouse. So that's her right there. So that was December 19... She went missing on November 16th. This article was December 12th. Then on April 1980, body of missing DM girl found in reservoir. So the body of a Des Moines teenager who had been missing since November was pulled from... And so, let's see, we've got... Njus went missing in October, okay? And then this person goes missing in November. So it's sort of like this continual progression, perhaps, you know? So October of 78, though. So I guess, let me see, hold on. So Donnelly was a similar time of year, I guess, but it would have been 1979, so it was a year later. So Carol Ann Donnelly, 18 of 34 48th Street, was found at 2:20 p.m. south of the Reservoir mile-long bridge. Let's see if we can just spot that. Oh, well, that's probably the bridge. I probably just got lucky where I put that pin. I mean, anyways, that's the mile-long bridge, I would imagine, right? Let's see. Yep, 0.99 miles. So she was found south of that bridge, just where I have it there. South of the Reservoir mile-long bridge with a stab wound in her lower back. Polk County Medical Examiner Dr. R.C. Woodard said she was nude at the time her hands were bound with pantyhose, he said. Now, here's the thing is, Njus could have also been stabbed to death, right? That's the truth of it. Like, Njus could have been stabbed to death. You can't tell, though, after months of decomposition and the skin is barely there anymore, unless the knife actually hit bone, creating those divots, you wouldn't know. But if you had a stab, like, under the ribs, you know, like that in there where it just went into the soft tissue, you're not going to know. Now, in the back, it'd be tough to miss a bone, so, but we don't know if that's how Njus was killed, right? So, I know, Gene. I wasn't asking you. See, that's exactly where Gene just used correct is the exact way that I don't like. Yeah, I think there's definitely some similarities here. Wooter said the body may have been in the reservoir since mid-November, since the body would not have risen to the surface until the onset of warm weather. Donnelly's disappearance had police and her parents puzzled. Right, Gene. I think that's what everybody was thinking, you know. Underneath the rib cage. Isn't that what that means, Gene? Friend said woman was depressed. So now you've got these friends saying Donnelly was last seen at 6. You know, they're trying to make it sound like she was depressed and maybe just died there, you know. Yeah, maybe she was depressed because somebody didn't pick her up at work. Yeah. DM girl dies after stabbing. So now look at, here's another case. And there's a reason that I'm bringing this one up. It says a 16-year-old Des Moines girl died early Saturday, hours after she'd been found lying on a lonely Polk County road north of the city. Oh, wow, north of the city again, with stab wounds in the chest and abdomen. Melody of Oliver of let's put her in there. 1303 Harrison Avenue. Oh boy. So I've already got that one. Melanie Oliver. Okay. So that's in there. Was conscious for a time after she was found about midnight by passersby. So she was dumped, probably thought she was dead, but later died at Broadlawns Medical Center, according to Dale Moritz, chief of detectives. This is in May 1980. So just after the body of Ann Donnelly was found, now we've got this incident here. Charged with her murder was a Des Moines man, Fred Louise Lamp. And look what his address is. 3409 59th Street. Well, look where this sucker lives. Watch this. And, oh my goodness, look at this thing. He lives right there. Here's the Village Inn Pizza where Donnelly, was working. This is the mall where the haircut was taken or given. And then look at where even the first case that we talked about. Look at this one right here. Ann T. Miller, right there. Okay. Then Ann Donnelly's home was right there, even though she worked right there. And I don't know. See, this is where I started going, oh, Jesus, this is some whacked out crap right here. You know? So then we're on, let me go to the next page here. Yeah, hold on, let me get that guy back up there. Okay, an innocent plea to the charge of first-degree murder was entered on Lamp's behalf in District Associate Court Saturday. Moritz said Lamp was arrested early Saturday in Polk City by Sergeant Mark Bowersox, who stopped a 1973 Chevrolet van. Listen to this. I mean, he's got one of those freaking killer vans, right? At the Polk City limits. Lamp was identified as an employee of the Marnette Auto Paint Shop, at 752 East Broadway Avenue. An innocent plea was entered automatically. A preliminary hearing was scheduled for May 19th. He has a $250,000 bond. Oliver left her home around 8 p.m. Friday, apparently to visit a friend, but was found lying in the 7100 block of, let's find that one. So 7100 Northwest 107th Street. So she was just found over here somewhere. Found alive, barely. And this is Oliver. So if you zoom out, look at this. Look at this again. Here's the reservoir, Oliver, and look how crazy this is, right? All three of these bodies were found sort of heading north of the city, right? And the first case was Miller. So, you know, Ann Miller. So she was found in her home, and then Njus was found up here in that access road that we were looking at. Where the hell is that? I think it's right. Yeah, right here. And then Donnelly was found floating in the reservoir here, and then Oliver right here. See, these are all offshoot stories that just sort of came up while I was looking at these other two Iowa ones. Hey, thanks, Betty Spaghetti. Have another one of those brownies, huh? Yee-hee.
Wow, Grey GR8 work.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not even done yet, though. That's the crazy part here. So Lamp was identified as an employee there. Okay, so Don Hoffman does janitorial work for Johnson Schools and was on his way home. That's who found. Moritz refused to comment on a report that Oliver was found partially clothed or a statement that she had made to the Hoffmans at the sheriff's officers. Neither Smith nor Moritz would comment on what led them to suspect Lamp or who gave authorities a description of his van. All right. Following Lamp's arraignment, Magistrate McIntyre approved search warrants for it and Lamb personally. We don't know much, if anything, about her, Oliver's whereabouts from the time she left home to the time she was found. He said his office got its first call in the case at 12:43 a.m. He refused comment on whether Oliver may have known her assailant before she was attacked and refused to confirm a report that Oliver told officers who talked with her that she knew she was dying. Ew, geez. Those kinds of things get into evidence of the case, and I cannot comment on them. The girl's mother and stepfather, Alberta and Thomas Garner of 1303 Harrison Avenue, and the girl's father, Glenn Oliver, at 1307 Harrison, gathered quietly in the shady yards around their home Saturday. She left home about 8 p.m. last night, said her mother. She said she was going to see a friend at 6th and Arlington. Alberta Garner said her daughter had attended Merrill Junior High School, but was not currently enrolled in school. She had worked at a fast food restaurant until recently. Told a murder charge had been filed against Fred Lamp. Alberta Garner says she didn't think my daughter knew anyone by that name. I think it was just a miracle that they caught that guy. Somebody must have seen, or just, you wonder if, I guess she never was able to speak. At least that's what they say. But watch this part right here. You guys want to, now we're getting into the craziness, even more of it. So here we go. Watch this one. Killing suspect had blood in shoes, records show. Bloodstain samples were taken from the shoes, legs, and a van of a suspect charged with murdering a 16-year-old Des Moines girl Saturday. Court documents filed Tuesday show. The document also indicated that the slaying victim told witnesses her attacker's first name. Also indicated that the slaying victim told witnesses her attacker's first name and described his van. Oh, so she did. She was able to communicate. Although investigators from the Polk County Sheriff's Department have remained mum on details of the death of Melody Oliver. Man, that's so horrible. Like, she knew she was dying, but she still helped the police out. Melody Oliver of 1303 Harrison Avenue, and the quick apprehension of a suspect, the documents indicate authorities have obtained substantial evidence. Fred Lewis Lamp, 37, of 3409 59th Street, was arrested about 4 hours. And that is what we have, right? Let's see. I just want to make sure. What was that again? It was 3409. Yeah, I think it's right there. Yep, okay. Just want to make sure. So that is where Fred Lewis Lamp lives. And look at this. Just in this one shot right here, you've got the... I mean, it's just crazy. Watch this one. He's right there. He possibly killed Ann Miller, the first case, let's just say, possibly. Then he kills, I can't remember which one, Donnelly right here, as she's leaving, working at the pizza place. And then Miller up here, I believe. Yeah, it's hard to get these. Yeah, Anna Miller up here was seen getting her haircut. So these are all people, like, they're walking, and in a home, right in that one area. So Fred Lewis Lamp, 37, at 3409 59th Street, was arrested about 4 hours after the critically wounded girl had been stabbed 3 times in the chest and abdomen. Was discovered lying nude from the waist down, boy, that sounds familiar, on a country road north of the city. So that sounds like Njus quite a bit, right? Yeah. From the waist down on a country road north of the city. And also the first case, right? Not the first case, but Njus, the second case that we talked about. Oliver, who had left her home about 8 p.m. to visit a friend, was found about 12:45 a.m. Saturday by Don and Pat Hoffman of Granger. The court documents filed Tuesday indicate Oliver told unidentified witnesses she had been raped and stabbed by a man named Fred. Why would he tell her his real name? Thanks, Fred, for being stupid. Was about 31 years old and was driving a blue van. The documents state that an hour before Oliver was found, Lamp was seen by an unidentified person washing a blue van at a car wash in Johnston, about 3 miles from the isolated area where the girl was discovered. Oh, wow. Jeez. Yeah, so he was obviously cleaning things up at that point. Lamp was arrested in Polk City at about 4:20 a.m. while driving the recently washed van. Documents show that investigators took 4 bloodstain samples from the front bucket seats and middle console of the van. Bloodstains also were found on a bucket, a cardboard box, and a cigarette lighter in the 1973 van. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have plenty of, massive blood pools all over my car, right? Like, you got this car, and there's a blood spot there, and there's a blood spot there, and there's one over here, there's one on a lighter, there's one on, The documents also indicate samples of dried blood were taken from the Lamp's legs and from inside black loafers, shoes he was wearing. Lamp also had what appeared to be fresh scratch marks on his forearms. Authorities also took blood, hair, and saliva samples from Lamp, as well as clothing he was wearing for laboratory analysis. Among the items found in the van were a .22 caliber rifle and, boom, that's what you say, get in my car or I'll shoot, with a silencer and a scope. Yeah, why would you need a silencer? 165 rounds of ammunition, an empty ammunition box, and 8 full and 10 empty beer cans or bottles. The documents show that investigators also found a pocket knife and a putty knife, but neither is suspected of being the murder weapon. The court documents indicate that authorities have not located a suspected murder weapon or Oliver's missing clothing articles. The documents also indicate that authorities believe Lamp changed clothing between the time he was observed washing his van and the time of his arrest. He allegedly was wearing a blue shirt when washing the van, but he was wearing a red shirt, a red and white long-sleeve flannel shirt when arrested. The blue shirt also had not been located. The items were not found in a search of Lamp's home, garage, or trash cans. Man, according, probably did the old fructose doulos. Lamp is being held on the Polk County Jail in lieu of posting a $250,000 bond on a charge of first-degree murder. Lamp, who has a history of violent crime, was released August 10th from the state penitentiary. Hold on one second. Let me just check something out here. Oh, I wonder how long he was in there for. Let's see. Lamp, who has a history of violent crime, was released August 10th from the state penitentiary at Fort Madison, where he served a sentence after being convicted of assault with intent to commit rape in 1977. Huh. Man, I don't know. He also pleaded guilty to a robbery with aggravation in 1963. Oh, he escaped from the state penitentiary in 1970 while serving 25-year sentence on that conviction. He was captured after being free a week. In 1976, he entered a plea of guilty in a charge of conspiracy and assault with intent to maim in connection with an alleged contract murder scheme in which a shotgun blast was fired at a man. Last October, Lamp was charged with terrorism for making repeated, obscene, threatening phone calls to two young West Des Moines women. Okay, well, doesn't that sound familiar at all? What's weird, though, is the first case that we talked about, you remember the obscene phone calls made to the girl that was 35 and then her kid, right? But now it sort of seems like he might have been in prison at the time. I'm trying to figure it out. This is 1980, so it would have been last October. That would have been. But when did he do that, though? And it's so strange because you remember the first story, there was a whole bunch of these phone calls being made in that same neighborhood. Last October, Lamp was charged with terrorism for making repeated, obscene, and threatening phone calls. So that would have been October of 79. Let's see. So he got out in August of 79. But what's weird now is the Anna T. Miller case is July 78. So, yeah, man, that's bizarre because it sounds like, man, it sounds so similar. He's making those phone calls to people. There's got to be a connection there. Has to be. Now, let's see. In 1976, he entered a plea of guilty to charge of conspiracy and assault. Last October, Lamp was charged with terrorism for making repeated obscene and threatening phone calls to two young West Des Moines women. He was allowed to enter a plea of guilty to a reduced charge of harassment, and District Associate Judge Norman Elliott sentenced him to 30 days in the Polk County Jail beginning January 30th. See, this is just makes you sick, you know. After being in prison, and he makes these threats, there should have been no plea down. He should have been put right back in there for years. Court documents filed Tuesday also stated that Lamp has recently been reported harassing high school girls in the area of Hoover High, but no charges were filed in connection with the reported harassment, police records indicated. All right, so let me... Which one do I have open here? Okay, that's the phone calls one. Then he goes to trial. Now look at this craziness here. So this is him right here, right? That's Fred Lamp right there. Well, you remember the sketch here? Look at this. I don't know if I can get... Let me move this over a bit. I don't know. If you just put a mustache on this guy, you've got a freaking dead ringer there, in my opinion. I mean, it's like... Yeah, so, but what's weird is that's the first case, you know, the one where we were talking about with Anna Miller, right? I mean, if you were just going to make a sketch, this is one of those things where you put pieces together. That's probably how you describe this guy, right? Yeah, it's kind of got a thin face. He's got glasses. Maybe some sideburns, you know, hair, you know. It just seems like it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility that that was the same person. But it sounds like, to me, he, based on what I just read, that he just got out of prison, and he might have been in prison in 1978 when Miller was murdered. But I don't know. You know, I don't know here. It just seems so crazy. The state's circumstantial evidence implicating... Because here's one of the things that's odd is that I think the Miller case was they questioned whether or not she was related to the Donnelly case. And it turns out, guess what? This Fred Lewis Lamp here, eventually, he gets convicted of murdering Melody Oliver here. And while he was in prison, he admitted to killing Donnelly. Okay? So he killed Melody Oliver, Donnelly. And now, what about Njus, though? See, I think it's very possible that he killed Njus. Don't you guys? I mean, Njus is the one that was working, or was right here at this mall getting her hair done. And she's found up north, you know, right here actually. Donnelly's found there, and Oliver was found right here still alive. But he... you know, Donnelly's case is still open. It's not listed on that site. It's not definitively solved, but he did admit to it to an inmate, apparently, that he killed Donnelly, which totally makes sense. It's almost the same story. I'm just trying to figure out, though, you know, it is a different MO a little bit here with, God, how many cases are there? Nellie Edwards. What year is Nellie Edwards up here? Oh, that's right. Those are those other cases. Remember? Here's the Grow guy. Or Mary Grow, I mean. But, yeah, I mean, look at this map here. But all of these are right here. This case, all the cases we're talking about tonight are, boom, that's where Njus lived during the week. She was over here getting her hair done. Donnelly worked at a pizza place right here. And then Ann Miller lived right here. Now, her case is different in the aspect that somebody, you know, she was killed inside of her own home. She reported prowlers and obscene phone calls. But then it turns out that Fred Lamp also made obscene phone calls to people. I mean, I'd like to know if those dates are absolutely correct on when he got out and when he was in prison. Because it seems to me like it's hard for me not to add in her. She was also killed differently too, with an axe. So, you know, there are some differences there, but again, everybody, you wouldn't have wanted to live in Des Moines, Iowa, okay, in the, you know, 70s, 80s. I mean, forget it, okay? Oh, yeah, I had a neighbor who got killed yesterday. Oh, yeah, my neighbor was... Let me go back. Oh yeah, I feel bad for the killer, Fred, here, though. Officials, Lamp is not safe in prison. Yeah. Lamp convicted November 25th of first-degree murder of Melody Oliver. Was sentenced to a mandatory life term Monday and was ordered to be taken to Fort Madison. But State Division of Adult Corrections made an immediate administrative transfer of Lamp to the reformatory before he even left the Polk County Jail. The reason for the transfer was the fact that Oliver's stepbrother, Robert Cornell, 31, is serving a life sentence for first-degree murder at Fort Madison. Well, shit, now I want to look up him. Another stepbrother, Ray Cornell, Iowa's prisoner, ombudsman. Oh, let's see, what is it saying here? Another stepbrother, Ray Cornell. Wait, what is it saying that again? Robert Cornell. Oh, wow. So the fact that Oliver's stepbrother, Robert Cornell, 31, is serving a life sentence for first-degree murder. Another stepbrother, Ray Cornell, so probably the brother, Iowa's prisoner ombudsman and an advocate of prisoners' rights, had expressed concern for Lamp's safety if he was sent to the penitentiary. We don't want to see anybody else killed. They cared too much. A spokesman in Governor Robert Ray's office confirmed Monday that Ray Cornell had warned of the potential for violence between his brother and Lamp, and both had been investigating the possibility of involuntary transferring Lamp to another state. Robert Cornell was convicted in December 1976 of the murder of Kenneth Crow of Des Moines in September of that year in Clark County. John Wellman, Lamp's attorney from Polk County Offender Advocate Office, said Lamp said he will not voluntarily accept a transfer to another state prison. I have talked with Ray Cornell and the county. I want to know what Ray did. Let's see. Lamp of Des Moines has at least 3 prior felony convictions and has spent 17 of his last 20 years in prison. Isn't that crazy? I mean, he has like 2 murders under his belt, but he was in prison for 17 of those 20 years. Think how many he would have killed, I guess. Ironically, Ray Cornell assisted Lamp in gaining his last release from Fort Madison. But Monday, Ray Cornell said, "In my role as a public official, I think Mr. Lamp would be safer somewhere other than the state penitentiary." He said he opposed the idea of Lamp permanently being assigned to the reformatory. Well, to be honest, I don't give a shit where, he can be stomped on all day by the other prisoners. I don't care. Anyways, I'd like to get the date. I mean, I can see how this could be different. It's just a year prior to these, though, all in the same neighborhood, but there's similarities that cross over to Caroline. That's Caroline Donnelly's home. Anna Miller, just so close to Fred Lamp, right there. She's butchered in her house with an axe, but she too had been receiving phone calls. And then you had that one note left talking about axes. Man, the whole thing is crazy. There could have just maybe knew somebody. But just look at that. It's so close to each other. That's not even, how many miles is that? I think that's like 0.4. 0.37. She got off work a 1/10 of a mile from his house. And Njus, 0.36. And he's just over here stalking, driving around, looking for his next victim. I think he probably killed Njus. So even if Miller is an outlier here, it's still weird with the phone calls, but I think he killed Njus, Donnelly, and Oliver. I think he killed 3 people. Njus sounds almost identical. So, anyways, that's it, everybody. What'd you guys think of that one? I thought that was a really crazy, interesting one. That was the, yeah, and see, he was a that's why I was going to bring that up later, Zozo, was the, it's the Njus case, and he was a previous felon, so I knew that he was already a previous felon. So that really could have been him. Oh, yeah, you know, he was getting really panicky and nervous about what he did, so he tried to throw everything off. Oh, yeah, he got thrown into a car. She was hit accidentally, though. Investigate it that way, you know. He probably even read the first article about it, how there was so much decomposition. Then he realized, okay, wow, I might be able to get away with something now. I don't know what that means. Michelle, I think you need to redo the sentence there. Interesting. Yep, yep. Crazy one there, right, Julie? Yep. Yeah, because see, he was a previous felon. Sir, you know what we should do is let's see if we can find what the hell this guy was doing before, really quick. Yeah, so this guy is... Fred Lewis Lamp. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of these. Two persons who pleaded innocent to criminal charges when arraigned in Polk County District Court were being held in the Polk County Jail Monday in lieu of bonds. Fred Lewis Lamp, 20, who gave his address as 4820 55th Street. Wasn't that close to that? Ew, jeez. Yeah, he always kind of lives in the same spot, same area, basically. In lieu of bond of totaling $7,000, Lamp is charged with robbery with aggravation in connection with the $261 holdup of the Highway Market at Grimes, December 23rd, and also with larceny of a motor vehicle. You know, he's all over the place. So that's February 10th, 64. Grimes holdup gets 25 years. Fred Lewis Lamp, 21, who said he lives at 4820 55th Street, was sentenced Monday by Polk County District Judge to serve 25 years. Well, obviously he got out a hell of a lot earlier, you know. Lamp pleaded guilty to a robbery with aggravation. All right, here's 1970. He escaped from prison. Two escapees from the state penitentiary at Fort Madison were arrested. Fred Lewis Lamp, 26, and Larry Gene Ford, 34, were arrested in their car on South Duff Avenue after police received a tip that the two would be passing through town. Ah, what a winner, huh? Good night, Kit Kat. 1977. This is... Okay, well, so let's see if we can figure out on our own here what's going on. What does it say right here? Fred Lewis Lamp of 926 East 6th Street, assault with intent to commit rape. Well, there you go. He's already... That one right there should have kept him in prison for many, many years, since he already had that 25-year sentence. Of 92, let's see where that is. 926 East 6th Avenue. A little bit out of the way there. Wait, is this a prison? Let me see what the hell this is. Mercy College of Health and Sciences. Looks like maybe that was a prison at one point, right? 926 6th Avenue. Assault with an intent to commit rape is in connection with an incident January 9th at McRae Park. Let's see where that is. I think it's kind of interesting going back to check these people out. And it's neat how everything's in the paper. And so right here, 1977 assault. Let's see, with an incident January 9th, sentenced to 5 years in state penitentiary. So it's weird because that means he can't be the killer of Anna Miller, because she was killed with the axe, and it didn't match, but there was the other similarities with the phone calls and all that. But, you know, she was killed right there, so close to where he lived after he got out of prison. Let's see what else. 64, 70, 75. That's not him. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's see what's going on if you type his name in from 1981 to 2000. Well, there's 81. That was just him being transferred around. Let's see this one. And then he did an appeal and it was upheld. And that's it. I think he's just rotting away in prison, or he's probably, I don't know if he's died yet or what in the hell's going on there, but I know, Susanna, I know. Do you mind if we just look up the cases ourselves? Thanks. You don't need to get on the side and look up stuff. I've told you guys it's not really that fun when you do that. I just want to do what I'm doing. All right, Susanna? Thanks. All right. I mean, you feel free to go do stuff on the side, looking stuff up, but don't put it into the chat, all right? let's see. I woke up and I've told you that many times, so Susanna. So I woke up and looked, and boom, there you are. That's right, Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's a total monster. Yeah. So I think he definitely, I think there's a very good chance that he killed Njus here. He now didn't kill Miller. I was thinking that maybe there was a good chance that he killed her because of the location and those messages left in the neighborhood during that time, but he just happened to be in jail right at that time. Yep, that's what it is. Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations. Yep. So, anyways, you guys, I think that's going to be it tonight. I guess this night is... How long is this one? 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's not bad. Yeah, thanks. I thought you guys would be interested in that. I kept finding these crazy little, you know, oh, this case looks like that one, and then this one, and then everything sort of came together. So I think that we're definitely, you know, it was interesting how, you know, they had the case of Oliver, and he was convicted, and then later on he confessed to that one. But I don't think they actually mentioned that they thought hers was connected prior to that.
Thanks, Gray.
Which
Thumbs
is weird.
up.
No problem, Lee D. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Sarita. I always want to say your last name. I like saying it together. Just like Susanna Macchiola Padrig. As in Padraig Harrington, the golfer. Except that's his first name. Thanks, Maureen Coe.
Love you all.
Awesome. Oh, wow, thanks. Jen H. The Generous Freaks. There you go. Oh, I lost the thing. But not sure what that window is that I've got sent there. Yeah, but he's from Ireland now, so he doesn't have an English name. He's just Padraig. Yeah, I'll be doing this, you know, as long as I can, I guess. I think it's pretty interesting stuff, though, right? I mean, none of these three cases right here will be discussed on a live show, or probably rarely even in a video. So I think right now, you probably know all 4 of the cases that were mentioned. Oliver, Njus, Donnelly, and the Miller one is sort of a strange one now. It's an outlier because now we know that it couldn't have been Fred Lewis Lamp, the 37-year-old barbarian. But it's right next to where he lived. But she was murdered with an axe, which is similar And it's interesting because also in Iowa is the case. Well, you know what? Let's look that up really quick. I was about ready to leave, but here, I'm going to look at this really fast. By year, I think it was 1981, I think. Okay, no, it's 1980. So that's like right then, you know, right around the same time. 79, or 1978, and then 79. I think I'll do 79 tomorrow or something. Or maybe we'll just do a live call-in show or something. But see, 1980 was a slower year of murders, but you had Roger Atkinson and Rose Burkert, right? And that's them. This is what the podcast... Well, you can't see it. Hold on. This is what the podcast is about. Right there, right? And all these people... Well, not all these. This lady right here is in the podcast a lot. Marcella. Here, let me just look up something really quick here, just for the hell of it. Let's see. Yeah. Here, let me get the date of that. So it was September 12th. So maybe there's one... Yeah, there's September 15th. Iowa State investigators plan to contact more than 300 people as they probe the weekend slaying of two St. Joseph, Missouri residents. Oh, maybe they're... I thought this was Iowa. No, that's where they were killed. That's right. That's right. They were killed in Iowa, I think. Now that my brain's mush, but yeah, I think they were from Missouri, but they were killed at the Amana Holiday Inn. Let's see where that is. Yeah, Amana, Iowa. God, I have this other crap from there. That's interesting. That was a 1971 murder. But yeah, right here at this hotel was where they were murdered. And it's really bizarre case. If you guys should go listen to the podcast, but you know, basically they were having an affair, Roger was, and brought her in, you know, they were going to hook up and meet there. There's some crazy stuff with the car and everything. And so they drove together, but so they go to the hotel, and believe it or not, there's a mortuary convention going on. It's really crazy. And basically what you know, Pharaoh was just, it's so complicated it's hard to just generalize it. But they were found dead in the bed. Rose was fully dressed. I think she had one shoe off or something. And then Roger was, I think, just maybe had underwear on and was face down. They're both face down. They both had been hit with hatchets in the head over and over. But what's interesting too is like there's a wallet with all the cards taken out, like and there was these two chairs right there where they were just sitting there. The killer just looking at the items, and they think this was before the killings. And then there's even toothpaste squirted out in the bathtub in that instance. And then there was some writing on a mirror, but then it was wiped off. Very strange one. You guys should go listen to that one. I mean, you might not, I don't, you know, some people like the narrator, some don't, you know, but it's really good. It has Paul Holes is in it. Yeah, Paul Holes, one of the main detectives. He's really, I mean, he's a great communicator. He's probably one of the best ones in there. And then all these different people that were the relatives and people that would know. There was so many suspects. Like there's literally 10 people that you think may have done the killing. Yeah. Well, cool. I'm glad some of you actually are listening to it. I think Jess Betancourt's the one that wrote it. And, basically, in this case, it was really Mike and her that did all the research because they already knew the case and they had the files and everything. And so I did a lot of the, editing and putting the clips in the order they're supposed to be in. And, I learned the whole case basically by listening to it as I was working on it. But, yeah, it's a crazy one. And I also have some cameo parts where I'm reading sort of documents or something. 10 different times. Yeah, it's a weird one. So. All right, you guys. I'm going to get out of here now. But yeah, you guys should go check that one out. Definitely. I mean, we were going to do a whole YouTube videos and everything, but we never got to that because it was so hard work for Jess and Mike too. All of us put a lot of hours. I know Mike and Jess put in more hours this time. But, because imagine, it's being narrated and then the narrator repeats it. If I was going to be a narrator, I would only give back the completed product. Like, I don't know if the way I'm doing it, I think works pretty good. I don't know if you guys, if you're bored, I can show you this really quick. So this is how I would be doing it. Here, I'll show you, like just using this program right here. Let's see. I'll just use this article right here. So what I would do is it all set up right here? All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, watch. Testing 1, 2, 3. Pretty good. I mean, it's really clear sounding, even though I'm doing a show here. So I would do it like this. Iowa State investigators plan to contact more than 300 people as they probe the weekend slaying of two St. Okay, yeah. So then I would actually stop it right here. I go, weekend slaying of two St. Slang, and then, I would do it. I would actually read it until I got the full sentence, all right? But anyways, what I would do here is I would cut it off right here and be probe the weekend slaying of, and then I would put it right there, and then I would actually create another file right below it. So this one I would save off as the master. And then down here, I would start recording again. I'd say, maybe go, the weekend slaying of two St. Joseph, Missouri residents at a motel on Interstate 80 near the Amana colonies. Boom, right? And then I would take this, take that one, and then say, okay, I started that one at the weekend slaying. All right, so then I would come up here. And then back more than 300 people as they probe the weekend. So I think it was right there, the weekend. Right, so I would take that and paste that other information right there, I think that worked. Let's see. More than 300 people as they probed the weekend slaying of two St. Joseph, Missouri residents at a motel on Interstate 80 near the Amana colony. I mean, I would do it better, but I would just keep going and going and going until I have the whole thing good, and then I give it to them. You know, I don't need to read it again, like a second, you know, different version of something. I mean, you sort of know when it sounds like you try to make it sound like you weren't reading, you know. I'm not saying when I'm doing the show, I am reading, so that's how it is. But if I was trying to make it sound like not reading, let's see. Iowa State investigators plan to contact more than 300 people as they probe the weekend slaying of two Joseph, Missouri residents. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Iowa State investigators plan to contact more than 300 people as they probe the weekend slaying of... Yeah, anyways. So that's how I would do it. I don't think you should sit there and keep recording it over and over and over and over and over and over, and then go on to the next one and record it over and over and over. Even though you might do that, you don't need to give the version to the person later with all those on there, because then it's like 4,000 hours of that you got to listen to. Do you guys want to hear the audio for the audio for the Tina Losser one? This is the one that Stacy was writing, that she wrote. You know, I try to make it, you know, change things up slightly just to make it so it's the way I talk, but she wrote the whole thing. Actually, I'll play it from Adobe. I'll show you where we're at so far on this video. And then you'll hear it the way the script is. Hold on one second. I'm doing Tina Losser. Okay? And the main part of this one's going to be... So there's the first telling of the story, but then my sort of analyzing it. Jesus. Is the part that's sort of more important, because in this case, because it's hard to write the part about, well, look, it's one-way streets, so you weren't able to go around the block. You would have been able to, you know, you have to see it, and it has to be explained, and then I think people would get it. So you definitely have to watch the second part. But anyways, it's just the audio of it, and maybe one picture at the beginning. All right. You guys ready? All right. Of course, you have to go watch it again, the full thing, when it's finished. All right. Who killed Tina Losser? On January 30th, 1981, Tina Marie Losser left her job at a bank in Wilmington, Delaware to go on a snack run, but she never returned. On March 29th, 1981, fishermen found her body under a wooden bridge 3 miles south of Port Penn. And this is where I'd put Tina a bridge. Was 25 years old and married to 35-year-old Thomas Losser. Together, they had a 1-year-old daughter named Karen Ann. Tina and Thomas were both deaf and in fact had met at the Wilmington Club for the Deaf, located at the corner of South Van Buren and Beach Street in Wilmington, Delaware. They met in December of 1977 and were married on September 7, 1978. Unfortunately, they separated 9 months later. Tina worked as a proof operator at the Bank of Delaware at 300 Delaware Avenue in Wilmington. She was described as a very dependable and observant employee. While Tina's spoken vocabulary was basic and sometimes difficult to understand, her coworkers said it was easy to communicate with her using sounds and gestures. Tina could also read lips and use sign language. Tina's job entailed verifying hundreds of thousands of teller transactions each week. A typical workday started at 1 p.m. with a dinner break around 4 p.m. There were many days that Tina made snack runs for the other employees. Sometimes these snack runs would be to the snack shop in the bank lobby, while other times Tina would leave the bank and go to the nearby mini-mart. While Mondays through Thursdays were typical work hours, Tina and her co-workers knew that Fridays were always going to be late nights and that they may not get off work until midnight. On Fridays, Tina's department would handle the transactions from all the bank branches in the county, as well as transactions from 5 downstate branches. The investigation. On Friday, January 30th, 1981, just before she went on her 30-minute break, Tina ran the totals on her machine to ensure she wouldn't have to start from scratch if the machines broke down while she was gone. At 7:15 p.m., Tina grabbed her coat and wallet and started to leave the office with 2 other co-workers to get snacks. Then a phone started ringing and one of the co-workers answered the call while the others stopped and waited. Tina continued to walk out without them, which her co-workers say was just her style. Tina was due back at 7:45 p.m. Her supervisor began to worry at 7:55 p.m. when Tina hadn't yet returned. Tina was known for being very punctual. They did a quick search around the building and parking lot, and then called the police at 8:15 p.m. The police arrived 30 minutes later and said there was little they could do because Tina was of age and could leave whenever she wants. A few hours later, at 1 a.m. early Saturday morning, police found Tina's car, a blue 1977 Pontiac Astra, at Park Place and Van Buren Street in Wilmington, about 200 feet from the mini-mart. It had a flat tire, the keys were in the ignition, and there was no sign of a struggle. The car was located on the route that Tina would have taken to the mini-mart. Police, at this time, believe she never made it there. Later that weekend, hunters found Tina's wallet 3 miles south of Port Penn near Delaware 9. Searchers found checks from her checkbook, wind-blown and scattered along Delaware 9, from Port Penn to the Augustine Beach area. Some of Tina's credit cards were found bent and mutilated. Tina's shoes were found in the middle of the ice on a frozen pond. They were wiped clean of mud and had been placed neatly side by side. According to a family member, there were scuff marks on the heels as if Tina had been dragged. A further inspection of the car revealed that the tire had been flattened intentionally. Police said a caller, whom they did not name, told them about an unidentified woman seen in Tina's car the night she disappeared. The woman was seen with Tina when she pulled up to the gas pumps at the Arco AM/PM Mini-Mart at 1022 Delaware Avenue in Wilmington. While Tina bought $5 worth of gasoline, which was a typical purchase for her, the unknown woman used sign language to communicate with her. The woman was also seen leaving the store with Tina. This is the last time Tina was seen alive. To protect the identity of the caller, police would not give any further details. On March 29, 1981, about 3 miles south of Port Penn on Delaware 9, fishermen found her body. She was floating face down in 6 feet of water under a wooden bridge. The body, bound and weighted with a cinder block, was clothed in a light blue ski jacket and blue jeans, and was found near where Tina's personal items were found. An autopsy revealed that the cause of death was massive internal hemorrhage due to stab wounds of the neck with perforation of the trachea. There was also a stab wound of the left chest with perforation of the aorta. Police wouldn't elaborate on the number of wounds. A family member said she also had multiple shallow stab wounds on her back, as if she'd been made to walk with someone behind her with a knife. It is believed that she'd been killed around the same time that she disappeared. As police questioned friends and family, they learned that Tina and Thomas's marriage was troubled from the beginning. Thomas was known to flirt with other women, and Tina became upset about this flirting and his frequent drinking. There were also rumors about physical abuse, and one of Tina's co-workers noticed bruises on her upper arms. When he asked Tina what happened, she just shook her head and walked away. 9 months after they married, Tina and Thomas separated. Tina took their daughter and moved in with her sister Linda and Linda's husband, Greg Merritt. They all lived at the Garden Quarter Apartments on Kirkwood Highway in Wilmington, while Thomas resided in Chester, Pennsylvania, which was about 15 miles away. Tina and Thomas continued to date each other from the time they separated in 1979 until her disappearance in 1981. Their dates often included spending time at the Wilmington Club for the Deaf, as well as going on double dates with friends. At the time of her disappearance, Tina was pregnant, and according to Thomas, she was going to move in with him in March. He said he wanted to wait until she was 3 months pregnant. He didn't have a specific reason for that arbitrary time frame, except that it felt right. Tina was supposed to meet Thomas at the Wilmington Club for the Deaf after work on the night she disappeared, but she never showed up. Thomas claims the last time he saw Tina was on January 25th, 5 days prior to her disappearance. Thomas said they argued frequently even while they were separated, but that he still loved her and was looking forward to her moving back in with him. As for the abuse, he said that he had hit Tina early in the marriage, but it was for stupid reasons, and he didn't hit her too hard. He said she never hit him, and she always seemed scared. In the days after Tina vanished, Thomas's left hand was wrapped in bandages. He claimed the injury happened at his job where he worked as a machine hand at the Collingdale Millware Company in Pennsylvania. Law enforcement considers the unidentified woman who was seen with Tina to be a key to solving Tina's murder. The woman is described as white, 5 foot 4 inches tall, 20 to 25 years old, with a medium build and shoulder-length brown hair. She was wearing blue jeans and a green jacket. Despite the best efforts by law enforcement, the identity of the woman has never been determined. Her description didn't match any of Tina's friends or family members. Today, the case remains unsolved. If you have any information on the woman that was seen with Tina, or have any information about Tina's case, please contact Detective Mark Ride at 302-741-2730. His email is mark.ride, R-Y-D-E, at delaware.gov. Or you can submit a tip by contacting Crime Stoppers at 800-TIP-3333 or visit their website at www.delaware.crimestoppersweb.com. Yeah, so there you go, everybody. That's the Stacy wrote that, and it's fun working with Stacy because we just kind of go back and forth, and she's easy to work with, and you know, it might take a while before we like boom, like she knows, because I talk a certain way, and you know, and people write sentences. One of the things we talk about sometimes, it's hard for me to read because you know I take a deep breath, and if it's a long sentence that doesn't have, like, I like to just do like short sentences with like boom, 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 like that, right? So that's one of the things that over time will get nailed in. Well, it's still fun, right, Stacy? I mean, what do you mean it was? What do you mean what was fun? We're still doing them. Yeah. But anyways, that's what is going to be on the episode. And yeah, I gotta put it in all the photos and everything. Yeah, it's still fun. There you go. Okay, there you go. So, well, thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. I gotta fix the audio. It kind of stops making the music for a while there. Is the music too loud, or does it need to be a little bit lower all the way through? Yeah, that's when we talk about. It seems like the husband definitely had something to do with it. I don't know if he's got a solid, even if he has a solid alibi, I think he's related to it somehow. And I think that a girl that he was seeing may be the girl that saw her at this gas station. And it's a little bit confusing in the articles because it says she was seen with her as she was pulled up to the pumps. Does that mean she was in the car when she pulled up to the pumps, or she just sort of showed up at the scene when she was on the pump, and then she was seen leaving with her? That's one of those things I wish I had the actual answer for that one. I think it is that she just showed up while she was at the pump, and then they left together. And so that's interesting, is like, why would she leave with somebody knowing she had to get right back to work? Was she forced to do that, or was she told something like an emergency type thing as a ruse, and that type of thing starts going through your mind? It's a crazy story, though. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you all for showing up tonight. You guys can do your 10-minute chatting session. But yeah, thank you all for supporting the channel. And let me get through to this. Gotta get my storm going.
Yes. Thank you to Claudia Neubauer, Allie Cake, Karen K with a cat eye donation, Chrissy, Gloria Batari, Mary Clark, Jessica Schubach, Chrissy, Kit Kat, Chrissy, Claudia Neubauer, Zozo, J. Case with a cat eye donation, yet again. Tracy, Chrissy, Sarita, Betty Spaghetti, Lee D, Sarita, Linda Howell, as in Linda Moulden Howe of the cattle mutilations, Marine Co, Jen H, Rebecca Green, Sarah M, and Michael Callahan. Yeah.
That voice is hard on my voice. It's crazy. But anyways, all right, everybody. Thank you very much. And make sure you're washing your hands, maintaining your social distancing, and wearing your mask when you're around other people. Okay? I've been saying that before it was even cool to say that. Not that it was ever cool, So, anyways, let's do that. Get through this damn pandemic. Get the shots. One of the things that was a little bit like, these the shots have to be maintained at a very cool temperature, right? But then they have to be maintained a liquid. So it turns out that what's that shit called? The antifreeze stuff, polyethylene glycol is in there. But it's a really small amount, but I mean, it makes you feel like, oh, wow. That's the crap that's on the murder shows, for God's sakes. So that's why it'll be good when the Moderna one comes out, because that one, I don't think needs any of that shit. It's just and I heard that on the news, so I'm not, if that's wrong, then blame the news. It wasn't just me saying that. Well, yeah, it's way below freezing. It's like minus 70 or some shit. I mean, it's way down there. But, the Moderna vaccine has no... Hey, thanks, Rebecca. The Moderna vaccine does not have to be cooled like that, so hopefully it's doesn't have the polyethylene glycol in it to keep it from freezing, right? So, and then Moderna does do that. It's the Johnson & Johnson one. No, wait, no, it's not. Let's see. I think Moderna doesn't have to be frozen. Johnson & Johnson is one shot and not frozen. Or not frozen, I mean at a really cool temperature. So you've got the first one that came out by Pfizer. That has to be kept at minus 70 degrees and 2 different shots. Then I think Moderna is that it doesn't have to be kept at minus 70, but there's still 2 shots. And then Johnson & Johnson is not at minus 70 and 1 shot. I think I got that right. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Sarah. Yep. Man, I want to use Johnson & Johnson. Hey, thanks, Michael. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yep, we're getting there. So, yeah, I want the Johnson & Johnson one. You know, just get the shot, wait 2 or 3 weeks, come out, boom, you're ready to go. The double one, it's kind of interesting because apparently the first shot sort of protects you a little bit in some ways. I was reading that. But then the second one just goes bam and like totally goes in there and shores up the first one. Yeah. So like I think I got it right. It is Pfizer, 2 shots and stored at minus 70. Moderna, 2 shots, but at normal temperature. You know, just a regular refrigerator. And then Johnson & Johnson, I don't know about the cooling mechanism, but it's 1 shot. So is that one, does that one need to be stored at just refrigeration levels? Because I think they should just switch it. I mean, you got these first ones out. I would say that Johnson & Johnson needs to just absolutely ramp up their production dramatically. Because I think everybody should be using that one if it's just as good. Or if it's 90% or better, everybody should be that one because it's 1 shot and it works quicker. I think you just take it and then 2 weeks later your immune system, just like the flu shot, is kicked in. I don't know what its rating is, you know, like 95% or Sarah? Hey, thanks, Stacy, up there. Okay, well, looks like you guys all left, so. All right, everybody, thank you very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gragel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Full deflector, interceptor, and I'll mean that I spectre with a vector. On
you sound like a robot.
With I know I'm trying to sound like one. Remember, I have a temper fucking creature. I have no agenda. I don't know, why not? I'm the pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal the true offender. And I'm gonna send you on a mission to get back to work. All right?
How come you sound like a robot? Why don't you just try to, you know, do the rap?
I don't know, I just want to sound like a robot.
Wow, you're crazy.
Gosh, you're so mean. Can I just have fun? I just want to be me.
Wow. Do you think anybody enjoys you being you when you do that?
I do. I think people like me when I sound like a robot.
Oh, wow. Good night, Mary Lou.
Gosh, John boy. You're so mean.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh God, he got suckered again. Suckered again. Where's my music? Hey, Stacy, thank you. Love you too. I'm gonna sing it like Mary Lou. Mary Lou, Mary Lou.
Hey, don't try to sound like me, Gray.
Why not? I want to sound like you. I'm gonna sound like you. I'm gonna sound like you.
Wait, but it doesn't sound like me.
Oh, okay. Then I won't do it ever again.
Well, no, I kind of like it when you try to do me.
No, forget it. You didn't want me to.
See the freak mask in the upper left-hand corner? The freak mask! The freak mask! Oh, there was Stacy. She was just up there too. Andrea.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.
Wait, why did you say it too? I already said it.
Because I'm not you.
Oh.
That was a good one. Come on. I don't know. Where did you send me an email, Sarah? I didn't see it. Well, send another one then. I don't think I saw it. I didn't get an email. grayhughes2@gmail.com. Yeah, I don't see it. I just looked again. Bum, bum.
It's not a treat, trollers beat, just one of the ways that I defeat it. Staying in my groove when there's a troll on the move, just takes a second to remove, cause every time I conclude, the troll is gonna lose. Nice try, lizard eye, I see you creeping on the sly. Why you think you're so fly when you're just a whiny cry. Battle me, you're gonna fry. Gonna send you out to mummify. Time to say goodbye. Ding ding ding, ding 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 ding, ding 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 ding. Nice try, lizard eye. thank you, Lane Doom.
No, I'll say it. Thank you, Lane Doom.
Yeah, I already said that.
But you're not me.
Oh yeah, I said that to John Boy earlier.
Yeah, you did. I'm not you. You get that, right?
Oh, okay, I thought I was you.
No, neither of you are you or me.
Wait, what do you mean neither of us are you or me? I'm me, you're you, and he's he. Hello? Anybody there? Oh, okay. Nice try, lizard eye. I see you creeping on the sly. Why you think you so fly when you're just a whiny cry? Lizard eye, I see you creeping on the sly. Why you think you so fly when you're just a whiny cry? Battle me, you're gonna fry. Gonna send you out to mummify. Time to say goodbye.
Yeah. Let me try it. Let's see. Nice try, lizard eye. I see you creeping on the sly. Why you think you so fly when you're just a whiny cry? Battle me, you're gonna fry.
Oh, Jesus, man, that's terrible. My God, John Boy. You came down with 250. Oh! Susanna? Correct!
Oh man, I can't believe you said correct.
terrible. I was saying it as a joke. I was saying it as a joke. Come on, don't be mean.
Okay. Wow.
All right, everybody. Be safe out there.